Good afternoon, North Texas. My name is Michael D. Rubin with MDR Associates. I'm the CEO and founder. And in our studio today for our first ever show is Miss Jenny Swain.
Thank you. Thank you. This is going to be fun.
Yes,
I am excited for it.
Yes, ma'am. We are going to talk to business owners each and every Sunday from 12 to 1 about what? Selling your company for maximum value. That's right. One day, as you're building your business, some of you have probably been building a business 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years here in North Texas. You're going to wonder, how do I sell my company? How do I actually sell my business for maximum value? And that's what this show is all about. I'm going to turn this over to my co-host in just one second. But before I do, let me give you some statistics about the industry. There are 77 million baby boomers in the United States. And of the 77 million baby boomers like yourself, they own 40% of the small businesses in America. That's right, 40% of all businesses are owned by that incredible generation, that hardworking generation, the baby boomers. And that represents, and here's the startling statistic, that you guys represent $10 trillion of company value. Those are the statistics. It's called the silver tsunami or the gray wave over the next 15 to 20 years. It's unprecedented. It'll never happen again. And we're here to just go over the process of selling your company for maximum value. Who do you select? What kind of buyers are out there? What's the current market conditions? So before we get into all of that information, I'd like to tell you just briefly about myself. Again, my name's Michael D. Rubin. I'm the CEO and founder of MDR Associates. I grew up here in North Texas at Lake Highlands High School, graduated, and then went to architecture school at Texas Tech University. Yes, I'm a Red Raider for all of those Red Raiders out there. And graduated in 7 years. That's right, 14 semesters to get my bachelor's degree in architecture, and I'm not even using it. That's right. I'm in mergers and acquisitions now. I've been in sales for the last 28 years. I've got a family, my wife of 29 years, Christy Rubin, and my 24-year-old and 27-year-old. I have two boys that are both grown up. They both got married to beautiful daughter-in-laws, and I actually have two grandchildren, baby Brooks, and he is not a baby anymore. He's grown up into a fine toddler, and he's 4 years old. And then we have Dylan May, our almost one-year-old bundle of joy. They both bring such warm smiles to our faces when we're playing with them. So we're a family of 8 now, and we live in Prosper, Texas. That's right, all the way out in the some of my friends actually think that's actually out in Oklahoma, which I think, Jenny, you actually went to school out in Oklahoma. So I'm going to throw it to my co-host, Jenny Swain, someone that's near and dear to our family. That we'll go over how we met in just a second. But Jenny, tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right, sounds great. So yes, I did grow up in Oklahoma. Right after at Oklahoma State, go Pokes.
Go Pokes.
Go Pokes. I got here to Texas.
Very similar to the Red Raiders,
that's
really.
Right. That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
Yeah, it feels like, especially the football. They sling it all over the field.
That's right. Just never can tell who's going to win on
that's right.
those days, for sure. For sure. Yeah, so got here to Texas and been here ever since. So early 20s to now. I'm not early 20s anymore. I am married. We're actually celebrating our 25th wedding anniversary in a couple months.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. And we have two boys. I have an 18-year-old senior in high school who is graduating in May, and he is moving to Pennsylvania.
What?
Yeah, Pennsylvania. He's a tennis player, and he is headed up to Grove City College.
Do you have any angst about him moving off like I did with my two boys?
You know, I'm excited for him. I think it's going to be a great adventure for him. I'm a little worried about a Texas boy being in the north in the cold. That is not.
He'll be fine. He'll be fine.
His entire wardrobe.
He'll adjust.
His entire wardrobe is shorts and T-shirts, so that's going to have to change for sure. For sure. And then I also have a 16-year-old, and he just turned 16 and got his driver's license last week.
Got his driver's license, huh?
Yep. So I am madly watching Life 360 every time he drives and watching his speed and making sure that he's doing all the things he's supposed to do.
Christy and I had like maps we drew. You know, you can only go a mile radius and then 3 mile radius, and then finally he was driving to downtown Dallas. Is that kind of how you guys?
Well, we did have him sign a contract. So there is a contract, and it is all these requirements about all the things he can and can't do, and gives him his boundaries.
There you go.
So,
there you go.
yeah.
Perfect.
So, anyway,
Perfect. Well, you're in the throes of it for sure.
Yeah. I call it the messy middle. We're starting to get out of the messy middle a little bit, but so there's that going on, and busy. We're busy with clients, and my background is accounting and finance. After undergrad at Oklahoma State, I worked for a few years, and I worked in the oil and gas industry, and then went off to SMU to get my MBA. So from there, I have worked in all different environments. I've worked in consulting firms. I've worked in corporations. I've worked for small business owners. Done a little bit of everything. I was a small business owner. I always forget about that.
That's right.
I owned a franchise.
That. You owned a business.
I owned a franchise.
You walked in their shoes.
I did for 12 years. So that all has kind of culminated and led me to here. And I don't know if you want to talk about how we met.
I
it's
think
kind
it's
of an
interesting.
Story.
We were firing guns off at the Frisco gun range.
That's right. That's right.
Talk about that for a second. We've been working together now, what, 3 years or so?
Yep. That's
Worked
right.
on maybe 15 to 20 deals together. You've been magnificent, finding all those little ad backs to get to the maximum EBITDA, to get us to the maximum sales price. So let's take it back to the Frisco Gun Club. How did we meet? How do you remember it?
Well, so I remember it. It was the classroom portion of the day, right? The concealed. We were getting our. Is it called a concealed handgun license?
It was.
Back then?
It went open carry shortly thereafter.
Yeah, but it was concealed handgun license, and we sat down together. Or actually, I was sitting, and you came and sat down, and I kind of thought, oh, that's interesting. I don't know this person, and I could tell that you kind of wanted to talk. I mean, I could tell. Like,
I'm a talker. My wife says I'm a talker.
I could feel the vibe.
She says I'm a salesperson.
Yeah. So we didn't know each other from Adam, and you started talking, and we conversed about our lives and what was going on. And I could see your wheels turning. It was interesting. Do you remember that?
Oh, my wheels were turning because we, up to that point, we had incredible salespeople at the firm, but our biggest hole in our firm was financial. Right. Most people think it's 80% financial and 20% sales ability when you go to sell a company for maximum value. It's reverse. 80% sales ability, but that 20% financial is extremely important to get to the final price, to find all those hidden ad backs. And so you were a huge missing component, and it was a total God deal that we actually met. 100%.
Oh, yeah.
100% for us. I mean, we're
right. And we kind of talked for a few months off and on, and met for lunch and had some meetings and discussed things. And we started out, you kind of threw a deal my way and said, hey, can you help me create this marketing package?
That's right. And you did such a fabulous job on the marketing. And to this day, our marketing packages are 20, 25, 30 pages long, and they really do a great job of describing the business, industry facts, business facts. All the financials are in perfect order. We've even launched our consulting division. So if you're a business owner and your financials are not in order, because of Jenny, now I guess I should probably tell the audience your nickname. We call her Jenny on the Block. That's right, because of Jenny on the Block. Yeah. We actually can find those hidden ad backs and clean up financials. So if you're a business owner and you're thinking, man, my financials are a mess, we still want to meet with you.
That's right.
So we met at the Frisco Gun Club. I probably had conversations and interviewed each other for 9 months, and then you came on as our chief financial officer. And again, I just can't tell you how blessed we are at the firm to have you.
Thank you.
Working alongside you. I'm amazed at your financial ability to see all those things and really just follow the money. You're a forensic accountant. Yeah. Right, you got your MBA from SMU. Unbelievable.
Right. Yeah, and it's a lot of fun getting to know these clients and getting to know these sellers and just understanding where they're coming from and how they've built their business, and just digging in and writing these business packages. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I love defending business owners when they go to exit. Designing their perfect exit strategy and then executing on that strategy.
Yeah.
Running our 10-step unique process. We're going to cover in the next 26 weeks on this show. We're going to cover how we do what we do. We've simplified this daunting process for business owners, and we really, really just like to meet business owners, hear their story, hear their value proposition, and get in what we call a discovery meeting. We'll cover that later in the hour.
Right.
So
that's right. Now here's an important question for you, Michael. Have you fired a gun since our concealed handgun license days?
I have not. and now everyone's thinking, well, how is that possible?
Yeah, right.
We just got busy growing the firm and you know, children and grandchildren and weddings and daughter-in-laws. Life's been really rich lately.
Right.
And now I just bought an AR-15.
Oh, wow.
And
that's intense.
And I got an SWAT guy that's going to actually teach me how to fire properly, clear the house and secure it in our house and all that. And so it looks like in my near future, next week or the following, I'll be back at the Frisco gun range.
Okay.
But no, I haven't.
Okay.
No, I haven't.
I've made it a few times here and there, just to the gun range, obviously.
Good.
But yeah.
Well, I tell you what, getting back to a little bit about why we're doing the show, who we're doing it for. You know, we're doing this show because we're passionate about getting into the business owners' heads, really thinking about what are your personal goals and objectives. We like to say at our firm, your goals are our goals. We have no other objectives. When we go into our hour and a half discovery meeting at our Frisco offices and we ask those 40, 50, 60 questions, we listen to your story, your value proposition, how much we think it's worth. We're always going to give you a value. The question's never if you want to sell. The question really is, do you want to know what you're worth? When you know what your business is worth, you can make that educated decision on whether you want to sell.
Or if you want to wait a few years, maybe it's not what it's worth.
Point.
And so
that's a great point.
And we can help with that too. You know,
100%.
How many times have you had a seller who wasn't ready to sell quite yet, but you kept on communicating with them, and how many years later did they come back?
That's right. That's right. So whether it's, you want to sell tomorrow, you want to sell 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, 24 months, maybe even 36, 3 years from now, the point is you really need to start preparing for sale. How long ahead of time, Jenny, do you think a business owner really needs to come meet with us and start preparing to sell?
Well, even taking it a few steps back, everyone knows that they need an exit strategy. So I always say when you're about 3 to 5 years out from potentially wanting an exit strategy, I think you need to start really thinking about your financials and how they look. That's the biggest thing when buyers, they want to see your financials, they want to dig in, they want to understand everything. And I go in a lot to companies, and they've been, it's a small business, they've been maybe their tax returns don't match to their internal financial statements.
Great point.
Maybe they're doing some things that are more, operational and maybe not financial looking. And so it's a good thing to think about this 3 to 5 years ahead of time, and if you don't have the knowledge or the skill set, then to bring someone in who can take a look at your financials. They can help you make them look more presentable. They can tie them to the tax returns, things like that.
Yeah, I think pre-exit consulting is super, super important. Look, we just want to meet you, right? We want to hear what your goals and objectives are. We want to see if you're a fit for us and we're a fit for you, and give you a good value. I mean, the values that we give are low to high. I call it the strike zone. So it might be $8 to $10 million, and that's a good time to talk about what kind of companies do we sell, right? Generally, we just sell manufacturing, distribution, and service companies here in North Texas, and we have our corporate office in Frisco, satellite offices in Austin, Houston, San Antonio, and Fort Worth.
And why do you like those industries, Michael?
I like those industries because that's what all the buyers want to buy, and that's what we understand. Primarily, of our 225 closings over the last 15 years, they've been manufacturing, distribution, and service, and we've really dominated in the HVAC, plumbing, and electrical space. We've actually sold more companies in Texas than any other business brokerage or M&A firm at MDR Associates. So it really, I want to kind of talk about the sales, the revenue volume, the revenue size. So now I want to talk about the revenue size of these companies, right? We generally aren't a Main Street business brokerage anymore. Okay. We're a high-touch boutique M&A advisory firm, founder-led, meaning I'm involved in each and every transaction. My God-given gift is getting the yes, playing poker, maximizing the sale, creating a competitive landscape. Your God-given gift is that financial IQ. It's unbelievable. I think as a team, we serve our business owners and package the businesses, I think, better than anybody with our HD 4K video, with our dynamic marketing package, with our third-party business valuations that we get done on almost every project. So I really feel like we do a great job of nailing those things down and packaging. We get a lot of private equity and investors and buyers that simply say to us, we've never seen a company packaged more professionally. And that's our goal.
That's right.
Package it professionally and then run our process. The benefits for you tuning in, just real quick before our break, we're about to take a break, is to understand just how this is a daunting process. We have a 10-step unique process. We've really simplified it. We're going to teach you over the next 26 weeks what the 15 things that can increase value with a company, the 16 levers that increase value, as well as the 15 things that decrease value.
All right, Michael, so I think it would be really interesting to hear about the origination story. I don't know that I've even fully heard the whole thing. So talk to me a little bit about, how this whole deal started for you.
Sure. Well, it was back in December 2008. I got a call from a gentleman named Don. He had just bought the VR Business Broker franchise in Frisco, Texas. And he's called me up, and his first opening line in the call was, "I hear you're one of the best salespeople in Texas." And I said,
"What were you doing right then? Like at that point in time?"
I was in between. I just resigned my position with Highland Huntington Homes as one of their top salespeople, and I was looking for the next opportunity. I mean, it was probably 8 months of really searching, looking. I had done well, so like many of you, I was searching around for the right opportunity, and then Don gave me a call.
So you went from homes to businesses.
New home salesperson to selling businesses. That's right.
And was that on your radar? That was what you were looking for?
Completely not on my radar. As a matter of fact, when Don said, "Hey, can you meet with me about selling companies?" I said, "You can sell companies?" Didn't even know the industry existed.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he called me. I think we met at Starbucks on Legacy there in Frisco, and we sat down. He began describing an industry where you got to defend business owners. You list their company. And at that point, VR is one of the largest in the world at what's called Main Street business brokerage, right? Think bowling alleys, marinas, cigar lounge, a gun range. Those are the type of businesses that are sold by VR business brokers. They've been around since 1979, 800 associates in the world and 130 offices. And Don had just bought the Frisco office. And so he was sitting down in Starbucks with me describing how you could make larger commissions than I'd ever heard of and serve business owners, which I was attracted to really serving the same type of customers I'd served over the last 28 years, right? And so, I've always just been a top salesperson. I didn't even think. The one thing Don really taught me, and I have to give credit to him, was EBITDA and financial trends, profit and loss statements, balance sheets. And he believed that was about 100% of the business.
Yeah, because you had no financial background.
Zero
you
financial
were
background. Architecture
and then
major.
Straight into sales.
That's right.
So no financial background.
That's correct.
Okay. You had to learn quickly.
Had to learn quickly. He had done some transactions actually in the radio business. He'd sold some stations. And so he bought the franchise not really knowing what he had done, and I think he hired about 12 other salespeople. In the first 6 months, another gentleman and myself had all of the listings in the company. I think we had about 90 listings. I had personally signed over 70 listings. Didn't really know what I had listed, right? And so because it was a bad time to sell businesses. It was the worst time in 100 years.
Yeah, you said 2008.
2008.
So that was the big banking crash.
Mortgage. Multiples were at rock bottom. Banks weren't lending. And so I learned how to sell companies with simply cash and seller financing. Speeding that up over the next 3 years, I started to get inquiries from bigger businesses saying things like, "You couldn't possibly sell my business as a VR business broker."
Why is that?
Because I'm a $10 million business and I net $2 million a year. You're not qualified to sell my business. And so that led to me.
So you were contacting these people, and they were like, no, this isn't going to work.
Yeah, naturally you begin to sell bigger and bigger and bigger businesses. And so, 3 years later in 2012, I resigned from VR. I continued MDR Associates, and my DBA quickly became an S corporation, and we began serving 3, 5, 7, 10, $10 million transactions regularly.
Yeah,
regularly. Right. And today our average size is $10 million. And so we're blessed with larger. It's interesting. The smaller ones are more emotional. There's all these emotions in the small Main Street business transactions that simply sometimes and most times don't exist. Thinking of one transaction we did last year, highly emotional, but generally it's a business decision to sell that $8, $20, $30 million company. So I would say we're above the Main Street business brokerages, but we're below the investment banks that we're, KPMG, Lazard, Houlihan Lokey. We serve that $3 to $30, $3 to $50 million business owner.
And do you think it's less emotional with big businesses because there's just more people involved?
It's less emotional because it's just a financial decision to sell that company.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
They've got, the bigger businesses have smoother financials, and it's a financial decision. We just, God just promoted our little firm, MDR Associates, to serve bigger and bigger business owners. You can't sell the big stuff in the very beginning. I wish you could, but you've got to cut your teeth. You've got to cut your teeth on the Main Street business brokerage, on the Main Street business.
And today we have, besides you, we have one other sales guy, right?
Right. Well, we have more than that. There's 7 on our team total, right? You, myself, I'm the founder and CEO. Jenny's our CFO. We have Todd Hutchinson, our VP of Exit Strategy. That's my right hand of the firm. Generally talks to buyers and sellers quickly, up front. So Todd is generally doing that up front. And then we've got 2 affiliate offices and my assistant, Vanessa.
Yes.
So there's 7 of us. And, of course, Tom, our VP of Video Production.
That's right.
There's 7 of us at the firm. We're just a small boutique firm at this point. Jenny, I'd like to talk a little bit about the current market conditions. I just got back from Charleston. I went to a big M&A conference.
Right. Those
statistics of 77 million baby boomers, 40% of all the small businesses are owned by you guys. You guys are my heroes. I mean, you've thrown it all in the middle of the table. You've built it over 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years. If you've grown a business up, you should be proud of what you've built. Extremely proud of what you've built.
A lot of blood, sweat, and tears, right?
I say it in every discovery meeting, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes we see tears when I say that. I've seen tears many, many times because the business owners never heard it before.
Right. Well, and you can tell they're not quite sure that they're ready. Not quite sure in these meetings a lot of times.
Exactly. Or they think they're ready, but that's all they've known, so what am I going to do? Here's a good fact. You want to hear an interesting fact I've learned after talking to 3,000 business owners and closing over 200? The business owner has to know deep, deep down what's the next season look like. If they don't know what the next season is, they'll say they want to sell. They might even sign the listing agreement. They'll never complete a transaction.
So you mean if they don't know what they plan to do next?
Yeah. So what we do is cast vision in the hour-and-a-half discovery meeting. You see me do it. You do a great job of it. We talk to the business owner about what are you going to do after we complete a sale. Our average time on market's about 4 months. It's twice as fast as the average firm. It's because of some of the things that we do. But let's say it takes 6 months or 9 months, irregardless of how long it takes. We look at that business owner in the eye and we say, what are you going to do? What kind of passions do you have? Do you want to travel? Do you want to golf? Do you want to play with the kids or grandkids? What do you want to do? Right? A lot of people won't just sit around on their couch after they sell their company. And
some people even want the flexibility to move into a different endeavor, into a different business, or they want to get rid of this one that they've built, and then they're going to start something new.
I prayed about the first chapter title in my new book, Sell Your Company for Maximum Value, and the title is Stop Making the Donuts. Everybody makes donuts. We all do it. I sell companies for a living. You look at financials, right?
Right. When my husband gets up sometimes in the morning and he's, the alarm, he's not a morning person.
Right.
Sometimes he'll say things like, I got to go make the donuts.
Exactly. And so the next chapter is the timing is perfect. Like, what is a perfect timing for you? Here's a couple things I've learned in all the discovery meetings. Timing has to be right in 3 areas, okay? First of all, the industry, the whole arena. There's a good time to sell your business, and there's a not so. We described the 2008 nightmare time that I got in the business.
Right.
Banks weren't lending, multiples were at rock bottom, you're not getting max value, and banks won't lend. Guess what, folks? Now is the perfect time. 2023. Did I just say 23?
You did.
Wow. I hope I don't sign my checks that way. 2024 is the perfect time to sell.
Now, a lot of people would say interest rates are still high. I won't be able to qualify for buyer won't be able to qualify for a loan. So why are you saying this?
Because rates were 11% 2 months ago with SBA. Now they're 9%. They're coming down.
They're not as low as they've ever been.
That's right.
But
they're coming down.
Okay.
A lot of deals aren't done with seller financing. I mean, a lot of deals aren't done with SBA. A lot of them are done with either cash, seller financing, and quite frankly, the bigger deals, like the $20 million deal we completed last year, was 100% private equity.
Yep.
Folks, there's trillions and trillions and trillions of dry powder out there post-COVID where these firms, these private equity and family offices, could not put the money into the market. Investors gave them the money, and they've got to give it back if they don't buy companies. So it's almost a hyper-aggressive market where if you've got a good company, they'll pay top dollar right now to buy your company, to buy your company, and quite frankly, for maximum value. Mm-hmm. So 2024, not 2023, 2024, 25 and 26, I think over the next 3 years will be the best time to sell your company in the history of selling companies because the winds are at our back, banks are lending, rates are gently coming down, and buyers have trillions of dry powder to buy these companies with.
Right.
So if you're at retirement age, consider it. Consider getting at least an opinion of value with us here at MDR Associates.
So you mentioned 3 things. That was the first.
Right.
What's the second?
Second thing that somebody needs to be, where the timing is perfect, is they need to emotionally be ready. Okay. They need to know what they're doing next, just like we talked about, and they need to emotionally be prepared for a little bit of a roller coaster. Right. Would you agree that it's ups and downs of a transaction? Mm-hmm. You've seen, how many roller coasters have you seen so far?
I mean, every single one of them is a little bit of a roller coaster, if not a lot.
How many times do they die?
Oh, 2, 3 times.
Sometimes 4 or 5.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And then the third thing you need is a financial guru that I'm looking at right now. You need somebody to go. No, but I don't. Hey, my expertise is not going into QuickBooks and finding the hidden add backs and getting to the maximum EBITDA. By the way, EBITDA, it was funny, when I started, I used to say EBITDA, GBITA. Now I know EBITDA is earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization.
Earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization.
See, not my expertise. Not my expertise. That's yours.
Plus owner add backs.
Plus owner add backs.
Right.
Yep, which is adjusted EBITDA.
Right.
Every company is sold by a multiple of EBITDA, or even more specifically, adjusted EBITDA. Can you explain to everyone the difference between EBITDA and adjusted EBITDA?
Well, first let's just real quick. I don't want to get into a lot of technical stuff right now, but EBITDA is a proxy for cash flow, right?
Yep.
So if you look at your income statement, you've got net income, but then EBITDA are all the non-cash things that are in your income statement that don't detract from your cash flow. So you start with net income and you add all of these interest, taxes, depreciation, amortization back, and you get to EBITDA, which technically, like I said, is a proxy for the amount of cash that's spun off of your company. So then you also have things like small businesses. They run through a lot of owner expenses, maybe, things that make sense, but they're very specific to an owner, and they may not be what a buyer would choose to do with their cash flow. So we get in there and we dig around and find any type of owner-specific expenses, one-time expenses, things that are really decisions, not part of operations, but that are decisions made by the owner in ways to spend their money that maybe a different owner would make. Sure. So that's kind of what EBITDA is.
EBITDA. Interesting. Yeah, and you know what? I used to say EBITDA, GBITA. It's wildly important. Because most of the companies we sold are either 3, 4, or 5 times EBITDA. Some can go to 6, 7, and 8, depending on how many management's in place. If it's 50 years old, if their customer concentration, we'll get into that in a later episode. But yeah, I mean, you know what? That third thing, the financial. So to recap, the market's got to be right. You got to emotionally be ready. And the third thing is you need your finances in order. The sooner they get to us, the better. Right. The sooner they get to us, the better.
And the more they can tie to your tax returns so that it's easy to see that the tax returns match the financial statements, the better off we are. Absolutely.
Well, I'm gonna paint a picture of a discovery meeting, right? So if you call our 800 number, we'll give that information here in a second, and you call us and you're inquiring about just our discovery meeting, you want a complimentary opinion of value, you're going to come into the firm. We're friendly Texans serving Texans, and Jenny and I are going to sit down with you. Todd Hutchinson might be there. You know, like I said, he's kind of our right hand. He's a VP of Exit Strategy, and we're going to sit down. We're going to ask you just to tell us your story. Take us back to whenever you started the firm, whenever you started your business, if it was 1970 or 1984. Take us back. Take us through the last 20, 30, 40 years, and we're going to have 20, 30, 40 questions. But we have no agenda in that discovery meeting. We want to get to know you. You can get to know us. Hopefully it's a fit for you and it's a fit for us.
Welcome back to Sell Your Company for Maximum Value with me, Jenny, and Michael Rubin over here. So in the last segment, we were talking about the discovery meeting. Hey, Michael, I'm curious, how many discovery meetings do you think we do a year? You probably don't think it. You know it. How many discovery meetings do we do? How many clients do we end up working with? Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, we do probably 100 to 150 discovery meetings a year. We end up working with 15 to 20 clients. So we're very selective, as you should be when you're interviewing these M&A firms. It has to be a good fit for you, and it has to be a good fit for us. That discovery meeting, like I said before the break, we don't have an agenda. You know, a lot of times God moves in that discovery meeting, and it's just a fit with that business owner. I can almost tell you in the first 15 minutes, as I'm sure is the same for you, whether you like us and we like you. This isn't selling a car. This isn't selling a house. This is a once-in-a-lifetime event where you get to retire gracefully. And so I would say in my new book, I have a chapter all about selecting the right M&A firm. We're doing 24 video podcasts or shows this year, and we've already have 5 of them up on YouTube and our website. By the way, we haven't said this in the whole show. Our website is www.sellmycompanynow.com. That's www.sellmycompanynow.com, or you can simply call us at 855-637-2020. That's 855-637-2020. But if you go to YouTube, subscribe to MDR Associates, and you'll automatically get the next show, Sell Your Company for Maximum Value podcast, where Jenny and I, and sometimes Todd Hutchinson, even our previous clients, are highlighted on the show, and they talk about the process, the 10-step unique process. Once you sign a listing, what are you going to experience? Yep. We're going to cover that next week. We're going to go into that 10-step unique process. We'll go a little deeper into, once we get past that discovery meeting, someone signs a listing or an engagement letter with us, what's the process? What can they expect from you with the marketing package, Tom with our HD 4K video, and our third-party valuation firm. His name is Hensei. What are you going to expect from the welcome email you get from Vanessa? I mean, we have a process and best practices for everything. I think we're different because our people are excellent, like you, Jenny, and Tom. You guys make up the entire firm. I think we actually, because we signed Ed Too Tall Jones and Randy White to our team. That's right, the Super Bowl champions from nearly 30 years ago have quotes on the back of my book, and they're going to be doing guest appearances. They'll even be coming on the radio show in the next 6 or 8 weeks. So they'll be in studio with us, both on the podcast at PR News. Jeff Crilly is our PR firm that hosts our podcast. He's fantastic. Really appreciate everything he's done, getting the word out on the book, getting the word out on the show.
And the podcast kind of works through the chapters of your book. Correct.
Yeah, the podcast, we go over 2 chapters a week. So episode number 1 was introducing our championship deal team with you, Tom, and Todd Hutchinson, myself, and the 2 Cowboys. And then it moves on 2 chapters a week, each and every week. Again, you can go to www.sellmycompanynow.com or call us at 855-637-2020. That's 855-637-2020 to schedule your complimentary opinion of value. If you are on YouTube, it's really easy on YouTube to just subscribe to MDR Associates. Go check out our YouTube channel. We have over 40 or 50 informational videos on everything we're talking about. So we have a lot of resources for business owners.
Our website is a wealth of information.
It really is. It really is. Yeah. The shows are right there. When you go, you'll watch the show right on the homepage.
Yeah. There's client testimonies. There's bios of all of us. Lots of resources.
Yep. I've done 4 or 5 interviews over the last month. With Fox Radio. They're all in the media tab on our website. That's a great point. A lot of people don't make a decision to sell their company for 6, 12, 18 months. So we just decided to put a lot of money and time into our website as a resource for you, the North Texas business owner. So I think it's time for us to kind of start to wrap it up. Jenny, any final thoughts you have for our viewers?
Well, I'm excited about this. I'm excited to spend this time on Sundays. I think it'll be great. And
Sundays 12 to 1.
Yeah, we're going to be on noon to 1 every Sunday.
Every Sunday, 26 weeks. That's a good point. So we're actually going to start after football ends, after the Super Bowl every year. Hopefully, you're right.
That's right.
Who knows if we'll have the same hour, but I think we might. We'll see how this goes. From 12 to 1 every Sunday, starting in March and ending in August. 6 months on, 6 months off, and we're going to go over a myriad of topics about buying and selling businesses and getting maximum value when we do.
Right. And this show is kind of a passion project for you. So maybe tell people why you wanted to do this.
I fell in love with the baby boomers that I serve, to be honest. I mean, we're a Christian firm. That just means we're going to be high integrity, high transparency, and high confidentiality at all times in all of our business dealings. And we don't want to talk. We don't want to say we're Christians. We want to walk like we're. You're going to see our Christian values in the way we walk out that discovery meeting. These deals get tense.
They do.
These deals get really tense. And business owner, if you think back when you bought a car. Were you your best self? What about when you bought that house? Was that your best self that came out when you bought that? So sometimes we get people that are literally, it's maybe not their best self. They want a little bit more value. The buyer said something that really made them angry. And what do you like to say? I talk people off what?
You talk people off ledges?
I talk people off ledges all the time.
You do, and you come up with creative solutions, right? We hit a roadblock and something's going wrong, and all of a sudden you pivot and you have this new idea, this new way of presenting the deal, and it's quite interesting and amazing to watch.
Well, I tell you, on the podcast this week, we shot it last week, episode number 4. I simply said, you don't know this business till you've done 100 transactions. That took 10 years for me to do that, 8 to 10 years. So 100 transactions is about where I started to get my legs underneath me going, okay, I can start to resuscitate these deals when they die.
I'll never forget the deal last year, and we had to go out to the client to try to save the deal. And you told me exactly psychologically how that entire meeting was going to go. And it went exactly like you told me it would.
Well, I don't know about all that, but I can tell you on the way out there, the deal was dead.
Yes.
Right? Beep! Get the paddles out. No heartbeat whatsoever. It was a $20 million transaction. I was concerned about.
It was kind of a big deal.
It was a big deal. I was concerned about Miss Vicky and Bobby and the family at Hughes Tank. And you know what? It was one of those deals where they had heightened emotions, did they not?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, Vicky, she had given her heart and soul to that company
for 38 years. And our job is to maximize value and make sure she's protected.
Yeah, and the deal was dead.
So you asked me earlier why I like what I do. I want to defend business owners like Randy White played football for the Dallas Cowboys. He was ferocious.
That's right.
On the field.
Right.
You should see me with my grandkids. It's the soft underbelly of Michael D. Rubin. But when I'm playing ball, meaning I'm representing a business owner in North Texas, like a sports agent represents an athlete, I'm dead serious.
Yes, you are. And we saved that deal.
Wow.
But we're getting close on time, so we probably need to wrap it up.
All right, so if you go on the World Wide Web, be sure you put in the web address. If you Google us, it might not come to our website at MDR Associates, but go to the web address, www.sellmycompanynow.com. That's sellmycompanynow.com, or call us at 855-637-2020. That's 855-637-2020. And someone will get back to you from our team within 24 hours. If you're a seller, don't be surprised to hear my voice. Again, that's 855-637-2020, 855-637-2020.
All right, I think that about wraps it up for this week.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah. Well, until next week, be blessed.